This call is now being recorded.
Okay, I think now I can start, right? Well, so I can see 78 people along with Dr. Yogesh Parekh and Dr. Atul Bhatt. Number of people have left the meeting. I don't know what is the reason, but I hope this course coordinator are keeping count of them and uh, will manage. Now, let us talk about INFLIBNET. Uh, now, who is this? Okay, my screen is visible. Yeah. So in today's session, I am going to talk about INFLIBNET activities and services for higher education sector of the country. Now somebody's mic is still on. I will stop presenting.
All the participants are instructed to mute yourself. Hello, this is Atul Bhatt from Gujarat University, course coordinator. All the participants are strictly instructed to mute yourself. Please carry on, Yatrik sir, please.
Sure. Sure. Now about INFLIBNET, it has been established in 1991 as UGC's project, and it was recognized as Inter-University Center of UGC in 1996. And if you want one-line introduction of my center, basically I can say that it facilitates and promotes scholarly communication activities in the higher education institutes in the India. And most of you people know INFLIBNET just because of three activities, that is library automation or SOUL and this what you call union catalog and e-resources. But over and above, INFLIBNET is also doing lot many other things. So that I am going to tell you in today's session. So if you want a snapshot of all the activities of INFLIBNET Center, a very good picture will depict overall activities of that center, of the center. If you see carefully, this tree is having 7 branches. So these 7 branches are basically like automation and database, consortium, open access, e-content, university ranking, and technical service. So if you see bottom of the slide, there are total 7 verticals in which INFLIBNET works at present. Now, if you see automation and database, we have SOUL, INTCAT, and human resources development along with Vidwan. In consortium, we have eShod Sindhu. In open access, we have Shodh Ganga, Shodh Gangotri, IR8 INFLIBNET, OJS, ICSSI data services, etc. In e-content, we have ePG Pathshala, we have Swayam Prabha, we have Vidyamitra. For university ranking, we have NIRF, Atal Innovation Ranking, Indian University Ranking, and University Profiles. Now, for technical services, we have done UGC's e-governance system, UGC scheme, DEB, Study in India, Shreyas, NTA project, Central University portal, Ek Bharat, Swachh Bharat. So total, we have 25 plus activities in 7 verticals. Now, first and foremost, indicate. Now, how many? I don't know how many of you are presently using indicate, but still it is very prevalent and very useful resources, because I understand all of you belong from library and information science. So this is the standard manual catalog, which contains somewhere around 96,54,000 unique bibliographic records, 4,39,000 plus thesis records, and 35,000 plus serials records. And universities are contributing, like that indicate books record have been contributed by 193 universities, thesis record has been contributed by 443 universities, serial record has been contributed by 229 universities. Now the search interface has been quite intuitive and changed. Say suppose if you search for computer network, the title, just what it will do is it will show me the book, as well as then it will also show me the location where it is available. And if I want to make a request, I can straight away click request button, and if like you have an agreement, or you are associated and you are willing to provide this service, the request will come to your place. Further, as a librarian point of view, uh, you can also perform state-wise search. Like suppose if you want to search computer network in say universities of Gujarat, okay, and I just want to particularly search records in Gujarat University. This Gujarat University, only one book particularly. Ganpat University is 16. So what I will get is, I will get all the books, all the copies within Gujarat. Obviously, we have filters and further, the idea is if you select all, you can always download as plain text or download as mark. I will show you how does this record look like. So in spending little time, see here you can see in text as well as mark, right? Now, being from coming from library profession, you can understand, suppose if you want to create your database, or update records, then you can straight away use indicate. You can always download the record from indicate and put it into your library management system. So say in case suppose if you are spending 10 rupees or 15 rupees per data entry, you can always save that money by downloading the records. And you know how this happened? See, INFLIBNET in 1996 we have thought like we need to create a union catalog. Now यूनियन कैटलॉग बनाने के लिए सबसे पहले क्या चाहिए? तो हर एक लाइब्रेरी का डेटा इकट्ठा करना पड़ेगा. Now libraries were not fit with computer systems and automation system at that point of time. So at that time, say in 1996, we have developed ILMS, Integrated Library Management System, and given to all university libraries. Okay, and they started creating data, and then after that ILMS turned into Soul 1.0, Soul 2.0, etc. So this both activities goes together, and now you can see the benefit. And anyway, this and I have shown. Now, so Soul is basically a library automation software. It is Atmanirbhar software. I mean, made in India and made by people of India. Further, see, if you see carefully, InfliBnet is not into making profit. So it is developed by a non-for-profit agencies. It is being given in the cheapest rate. Suppose if you are using Koha or etc., if you are paying say only 10,000 or 20,000, so Koha people who give services of Koha might be charging say 30,000, 50,000 per annum for you, right? If you consider only 10,000 per annum, within 5 years, okay, you will be spending the cost of sole software. And then if you want to upgrade that software, you have to pay extra. If you want to export your data, you have to pay extra. If you want to integrate RFID, you have to pay extra. So don't go into, this is not the topic to discuss this, but don't go into like open source business models. Right. Anyway, let's forget about that. So, InfliBnet has developed the Soul. We are happily serving 3,700 plus installation across the country. We are compliant to all international standard as Mark 21, RFID, NCIP2, Unicode-based multilingual support, etc. It has been given to colleges and universities, entire Northeast region under variable projects. It has been taught as part of master level syllabus of library school across the country. Now coming to eShodh Sindhu. Again, I will straight away go to eShodh Sindhu site. The site is ess@inflinet.su.in. And if you look at here carefully, eShodh Sindhu initiative serves 97 CFTIs, 270 universities, 89 technical institutes, 3,200 plus colleges, by providing them 10,000 plus e-journals, 16 lakh plus e-books. In addition to that, there are somewhere around, sorry, not 16 lakh, 1.64 lakh ebooks plus 6 lakh ebooks through NDL, 22 resources, and 4 databases. Now, just assume your library, like what is the number of connection in your library? 15,000, 20,000, 60,000, 70,000, 1 lakh. How many books you have? Okay. You are limited to say very old libraries like BHU or MSU or Gujarat University. They have on an average 5 lakh records or maybe 7 lakh records. Whereas using this eShodh Sindhu, you are getting access to more than, if you total this figure, it is somewhere around 6 lakh plus 1.64 lakhs. That is somewhere around less than 8 lakh records you are getting in your device. That is anytime, anywhere. Okay. Further, if you want to look at what kind of e-resources that are being provided, we are giving ASEAN Digital Library, American Chemical Society, American Institute of Physics, American Physical Society, annual reviews, ACSC Journals Online, ASME, Betham Science, EPW, JSTOR, and Taylor and Francis, etc. So basically what you are getting is you are getting books from very reputed publishers. Further, if you go to college component of eShodh Sindhu, that is enlist. Because see, people will say, um, why there is difference between, I mean, what is the difference between resources provided to universities and resources provided to colleges? But if you see categorically, uh, see, in universities there are more PG department, there are say postdoctoral students, doctoral students, the research work is happening, and their resource demand is very high. And what number of universities we have? 500, 600 some universities. Whereas if you consider colleges, we have more than 35,000 plus colleges, and mostly like those are undergraduate or at some extent, in most of the colleges, like postgraduate courses are happening, like MA, MA, MPhil, etc. So, compared to university, the resource requirement is little on lower side. So, what the committee or ministry has done, they have given a small subset of a to colleges which will serve the needs. So using Enlist, at present there are 3,200 beneficiary colleges and 3,31,000 active users. And if you see this, say today is 7th October, right? So in last 7 days, 8,000 plus users have been activated. Right. And what do we get uh, in Enlist? Say that are e-resources. 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 Physics, non-journals, economical and political history, non-journals, IoT, history, etc. And this is very intuitive search interface. Like if you click search, economics, if I click search, okay, I will get all the journals which are journals or ebooks which are from economics. And if I want to read, what I have to do is just click here to read. Now, it will allow me to directly read. What it is going to do is, it will ask me username and password. So if I have username and password, oops. I think I have forgotten my username and password. Let us see if it works. No, I'm sorry, I have forgotten my username and password, but after like entering username and password, it will allow me to access the Enlist resources. Now, suppose like you want to know whether your college is there or not, you can straight away check status of your colleges by clicking view status. Just search for your colleges. Say suppose this college I have searched for, let me search some colleges in Gujarat. Say Gujarat college. So if I click here, if I see, straight away I can see the details. The access is enabled, they have registered on this date, they are verified on this date, and more details are available here, their AICHE codes and all. So here you are also having statistics, and suppose you don't find your colleges here, you can always opt for registration. So any college, see why I am telling you this, because more or less you are associated with library and library science field. So for e-resources, your faculties and your college people are going to ask you, yeah, how do we go about this? So here is an, so you can always tell them, if you are not, you have not subscribed Enlist, go for online registration. There are colleges that you have to fill in your college details with like which course you are running, what are the other information, and for uh, 12B colleges, the charges are 5,000 plus GST, and for non-aided colleges, charges are 30,000 plus GST. So this was about Enlist. Further, if I tell you one more thing, uh, along with this, we are also providing access to anti-plagiarism software. Okay, I won't say anti-plagiarism software, I will say similarity check software. That is a good better name for anti-plagiarism software. There are a number of workshops are going on regarding this. You can always check. And if you see who are the beneficiary of this institution. So at present, there are total 1036 member institutions, out of which say 92,666 users have registered and using this, and so far we have scanned 6.79 lakh documents. So who are the beneficiaries? That are central universities, deemed government, deemed university private, government aided, CFTIs, institutes under state legislature act, state open universities, state private open universities, state private universities, public universities, and all IOCs of UGC are beneficiary to this. So I will move forward. This anyway I have covered, this I have covered, Enlist I have covered, e-resources I have covered. Yes. Now using eShod Sindhu, we have another byproduct called infested and document delivery services. Now if you say infested is nothing but a statistical reporting tool or usage analysis tool which is based on sushi uh, protocol. So basically what we do, we collect data from the publisher regarding usage. We automatically port into this infested system, and infested system automatically does the analysis of the usage for a particular university. So what sorry, excuse me, sorry. So what does it provide you? It provides resource-wise usage summary, subject-wise usage summary, monthly download, annually download, like say your institute is powerful in which subject area, all those kind of usage analysis you can do by simply logging into your site, and you will be able to see, check and verify download statistics for your institution. So like sometimes this accreditation agencies like NAC etc., they ask what is your resource usage summary and all, so that you can always show. Another initiative is document delivery services through JGate. So JGate is nothing but a discovery search engine or formatted search engine. What it does is it pulls records from number of journals. See, normally as a researcher, our tendency is we are always confined to one, two, three, four, or five journals. Say, suppose I am interested in computer science. So, suppose if I am doing research, I will just check few journals which I know. So, I will check IEEE, I will check ACM, I will check some CSI journals, and my job is done there. I may not look for fifth, sixth, or third journal because my search is limited to that only, because browsing across the journal is really difficult. I cannot go from journal page to find article. Okay, so I am restricting my research. Whereas here in this case, JGate, what JGate does, it searches through somewhere around 10 lakh plus journals, and sorry, not 10 lakh, 10,000 plus journals, and it has indexed over 6 million articles. Okay, so if you perform a simple search, it will give you the result. Now, this suppose this journal is not subscribed by your university. In that case, you can always press a button called request article. Sorry. As soon as you press request article button, a form will open. Okay, wherein you have to fill in your name, email, department, and other things. And as soon as you fill in, a request will go to the host institute. Say, what INFLIBNET has done, INFLIBNET has identified somewhere around 8-10 document delivery centers who are having all resources. So as soon as an INFLIBNET is paying them for each request. So as soon as you request for an article, they will download article for you in PDF format, and they are supposed to send you via email, and INFLIBNET is paying for this. So this you can tell to your faculties. Excuse me. So this was about DDS. Now see, there is say INFLIBNET and like ministry is providing e-resources, right? But the problem is, if you are in university, your e-resources, access to e-resources is confined to a university campus only. Okay. Why? Because the publisher has given you only IP based access. Now your problem is, your university opens in regular days, in normal days, your university opens between 10 to 6. During that 10 to 6, you have lecture, you have work to do, and you cannot focus on the research. Okay, even you don't get time to find the articles. Okay, otherwise, in some scenario, what you can do, okay, you can download the articles and save it in pen drive and refer at home. So ultimately, this restriction is preventing people for better access. So like you have everything, but you are not able to access. So ideally what should happen, one should be able to access e-resources from her campus or home or even while traveling. So now why this is not happening? Because why can't publisher create user account for everybody? See, I have shown you 5 lakh users. So, and 5 lakh users are using, say, resources from 10,000 journals. So, do you think it is feasible for publisher to create user account of all 5 lakh users? Sorry. All 5 lakh users? So, no. Further, publisher don't trust. So they are restricting access within university only. Whereas how we have tried to solve this problem is using federated access management. So what is that? That is basically a trust framework between institutes and services. So user authentication part, say Gujarat University. So user authentication part has been devoted to host institution, Gujarat University. Authorization is being handled by service provider or the publisher कि एक बार गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी ने बोल दिया कि this is valid user and genuine user, publisher have to allow. I will cite another example. Like most of you are using Facebook, most of you are using Instagram, most of you are using Quora. Now on Facebook you have two options. Either you create your account or you can sign to your Facebook using your Google account. Same way for Instagram also. Either you can create an Instagram account or you can log in through your Google account. For Quora also, you can directly log in through Google account, and there are even multiple sites like Pinterest and other things. They also provide login facility to through Google account. So like how your problem is solved, you have to create only one, you have to use only one Google account, and you can use it across the multiple service providers. The service providers are Instagram, Facebook, Quora, or any other site. So so can you imagine the same thing can happen for e-resources? Like you just create an account in your institute only, and using this account you are also able to log into Royal Society of Chemistry, you are also able to log into JSTOR, you are also able to log into Institute of Physics, you are also able to log into IEEE. See, technically it is possible. And federated access management does the same thing. What it does is, like all other service provider like Facebook, Instagram, etc., trust Google identity. Same way, all other e-resource provider also trust the federated identity created by using the federation created by INFLIBNET center. So that is called INFED. So there are three entities, IDP, SP and user, and there is a trust relationship between them. ये ज़्यादा technical हो गया ना? Okay, I will tell you how it happens. See, when a user attempts to access e-resources on publisher site A, the publisher asks, where are you from? Like Facebook app ask you whether you want to log in with Facebook ID or Google ID. I will say I am from India. I am a user. I am from India. I am from an institute under INFED. Then the publisher say you are being redirected to your institute's identity provider. Please validate yourself. I will enter username and password. I will do the validation. This fellow will say, okay, he is the genuine user. He is a student from such and such institute, to the publisher, and say allow him. This fellow checks for student privileges. Okay, as a student, he is having access to this particular journal. So the access is allowed. I will show you a practical demo. Say कौन सा जर्नल में जाएंगे? See, right now I am sitting in my home, right? I am not in my university campus or my INFLIBNET campus. Okay. And I will show you how I can access my e-journals or e-journals subscribed by INFLIBNET or provided under eShod Sindhu from sitting my home. What I will do, I will click login. Okay. Here there is an option login via your home institution. I will say find my institution. Okay. He says select your institution group. I will say I am from India, INFED Federation. So all these institutes are under INFED. I will say I am INFLIBNET staff. I will click here. So I will be taken to INFLIBNET's identity provider, wherein I have to enter my username and password. I will say login. Okay, यहाँ पर मुझे याद था. I will say login. Now see what information it takes. Say as soon as I have login, it says you are going to access Royal Society of Chemistry publication. He is a scientist at INFLIBNET and member at INFLIBNET. And I will say ask again and I will say accept. So as soon as I have accepted this, I am being allowed. हो गया login. Okay, I am logged in and now I can access. See, here also you can see network access provided by INFLIBNET Center. So whatever I have subscribed, I am able to use it from my home or from any bus stop, or if I am traveling to US, I can access it from there. Suppose now same point of time I am trying to access a journal from JSTOR, right? JSTOR. Okay, now see, while using JSTOR, I don't need to enter username and password again and again. What I will do, I will say login. Login, find my institution. Institution say INFLIBNET. I have to tell JSTOR that I am from INFLIBNET. That's it. Yeah. ये रहा login. See, it will not ask me username and password because I have already submitted. I have to just say accept. अगर मैंने ये किया होता ना, don't ask me again, तो it won't ask me. and accept. As soon as I do accept, I will be allowed to access JSTOR. Yeah. So access provided by INFLIBNET as administrator of eShodh Sindhu consortium, and I am having, so all the journals which has been subscribed by my institute, I am having access to that. And INFLIBNET is providing this service free of cost. Don't spend our money to some remote access service provider, this, that, etc. This is 100% free of cost service by INFLIBNET. We are see, only thing what you have to do is you have to allocate one machine or one server in which we will guide you how to install this, and then you are done. Okay. And for more detail on this, you can always log into info cell, that is parichai at inflibnet.ac.in. Just imagine how your faculties will be benefited, right? Okay. Now coming to open access. Now before that, I would like to take just 2 minutes break. I would like to take just 1 or 2 minutes break because my throat is like paining like anything. Just 2 minutes break. I will take some water or something and I will get back. I'm just 2 minutes, please. Yes, I'm back. See, if you have any questions, etc., please put in this chat box and I will be happy to respond. Actually, tomorrow I will be going for this COVID testing because I'm suffering. I'm having this problem since last 2 3 days. I hope and I wish that I'm not COVID positive. Uh, anyway, let's continue. Okay. Now let us talk about open access initiative. Like INFLIBNET as an organization is committed to open access. We have in open access kitty, we have Shodh Ganga, IR, Shodh Gangotri, OJAS, Infoport, and ICSSR data service. So I will be talking about that. See, in India, 75% of the education and 95% of the research, whatever is happening in India, is being funded by government money, either state government or central government. Now, where does this money comes from? This money comes from this money comes from what you call the taxes. Okay, suppose a street vegetable vendor, if he recharges his mobile for 100 rupees, okay, out of that 18 rupees goes to your kitty. I mean goes to tax. And from that uh, money, government pays to your institution in terms of grant, pays to the state government for your salary, also pays to the people for doing research. And ultimately, what we people or what we researchers are doing, using that money, we are doing research, and our research output, that is article, that we are publishing in reputed journal. Say, I have published my article in IEEE or maybe in Nature. Now, how do I did the research? I did the research from the partial money of that vegetable vendor. And so he is also contributor or funder to my research. Now suppose that vegetable vendor wants to see the research output, then he has to log into Nature, he has to log into IEEE or he has to log into the publisher site. Will you be able to see the research output or your published paper? No, because he has to pay the money. Okay, so there is a very risky publishing cycle. In close access, reader pays to publisher, author or researcher pays to publisher, reviewer also pays to publisher, further institution also pays to reader, author and reviewer in terms of that salary or maybe research grant. Further institute also pays to publisher to in terms of subscription. So in all cases, publisher is getting money. Whereas actually what should happen, the result of the research funded by government should ideally be accessible in open access to the society. Okay, that means now see you all are you all belong to library profession. You can tell me, suppose I have published my article in Nature or IEEE or some very reputed peer reviewed journal. Can I, as soon as the article got published, can I put it on my personal website, my institutional repository? Most of you will say, sir, no. Sir, no, copyright लगेगा. Right. Now, ये copyright is a misconception. If you go to, let me take you to the site. Let me take you to the site. Sherpa Romeo. Sherpa Romeo is a site, okay, which tells you the publisher's copyright policy. Let me check the policy of Nature. This is Nature. Search. What Nature's policy says. See, look at this. It is publisher's policy, right? Open access pathway permitted by this journal policies are listed below by article version. Say for published version, using open access publishing pathway, You can publish on any website or journal website without any embargo. The condition is you must link to publisher's version. Publisher's copyright and source must be acknowledged. For pathway B, if it is a research article, you are having embargo of 6 months. See, this is for accepted version, right? Embargo of 6 months. You can put it on author's homepage, funder designation location, or institutional repository. For submitted version, I am not talking about postprint, right? Postprint, that is this one. Okay, postprint is published version. Here, preprint or submitted version, there is no embargo, and you can put it on author's homepage. Same way, okay. Same way, if I search IEEE, I say IEEE access. Okay, there are number of things. Published version, no embargo, author's homepage or institutional website, published version, if required by funder, no embargo, author's homepage, accepted version, any repository, no embargo, accepted version for pathway B, no embargo, submitted version, any repository. Only condition is must be replaced with accepted version when submitted, set statement to accompany deposit. So it is conditional. And IEEE must be informed. Submitted version, no embargo, you can put it on number of places, and submitted version you can also put it on academic social network. That means you can also put it on ResearchGate or some other academic social network. Now, why I am telling you this is, see, normally what happens to our publication? Say you have done PhD, right? You have printed say 5 copies of your PhD thesis. What happened to those 5 copies? 2 copies are available with you at your home. Whenever you are going for interview, you are carrying them. 1 copy is available in library. Librarian is like very good person who has meticulously preserved that your PhD thesis by putting into a very deep corner of the library under a safe cupboard in lock and key, so nobody can have access. 1 copy is with register, 1 copy is available with guide. So ultimately your struggle, your hard work is available in lock and key. But, and how many readers are there? Very few. Because people don't know whether this particular research is available or not. But after Shodh Ganga, when all the theses are available on Shodh Ganga site, you are getting number of citation of your PhD thesis. So Shodh Ganga is this kind of initiative. Further, like I'm telling you why I'm advocating institutional repository is, say, take even my example, right? I was invited for a talk in a, say some university, say Gujarat National Law University. Now in invited talk, there were only 100 people. Okay, but I was asked to give a paper also. So I have given them a paper, and they have just photocopied that paper and given to 100 people. Now out of those 100 people, there are very rare chances that somebody will cite my paper. Same thing happens with conference paper. Whenever you attend any conference, say even caliber, planner, etc., it is being attended by 300 people. Conference volume is printed for say, say 500 or 1000 copies. It goes to 5, 10, 15, or maybe 300 libraries, and that's it. It is rare case in hardly 1000 to 2000 people. Now, out of this 1000 people, how many are going to cite it? Now, the idea is if your article or if your research output is widely accessible, then and then people will cite. So, I was talking about my own example. Say, if I go to my Google profile, scholar.google.com. Okay, my profile, and how many citations I have got? 30. Okay, 30 citations. Now in this 30 citation, if you look at this article is nothing but a paper presented as invited lecture, and it is cited by one. Who has cited it? Okay, this article has been cited by R. Chandra, some, and preprint. Okay, and this article has been cited by say some this is say some foreign author, right? Now, how this happened? Because I put this article. How I have got the citation? I put this article on my institutional repository. This article is searchable. Institutional repository. This article is searchable. It is an invited lecture here. Same way in institutional repository, all convention proceedings are available. Okay, caliber, planner, and all, like suppose Goa or Gandhinagar, Gujarat, or etc. So here people get access to or say this article are available in public domain, so it has more access, and this all contributors are getting more citation. Now more citation means more API. Also, you will also improve your institute's reputation and visibility. So, I request all of you to please establish institutional repository for your institute. I will also give you one more example, like this. The space of pictures area. So this is digital library of say Krishna Kanta Handik State Open University. What they have done, they have given their conference, seminar proceeding, workshop presentation in open access. Okay. Okay. And all the papers, all faculty publications are available here. So this will appear in Google and other search engines, and people will be attracted to this. And these contributors are going to get citations. So, Ravi, you are aware about Shod. So I won't talk. I have just told you about anti-plagiarism software. So I won't talk. Shodh Gangotri is an initiative which is repository of synopsis. Like this is just to avoid duplicate um, duplication of research, because normally what happens, okay, somebody from Maharashtra is doing some research on some topic, and he really don't know that somebody same fellow at given point of time also doing research on almost same topic. Okay, so and they are not connected with each other, so they will never know. They will only come to know after say 2 years or 5 years. अरे यार इसने भी इसी पे किया, मैंने भी इसी पे किया, and then both will be in soup. So Shodh Gangotri has been created with an intention that say no duplicate of research should happen, and it contains the repository of research proposal. In institutional repository, anyway, I have shown you. Yeah, and INFLIBNET also provide, like suppose you don't. This is the main point which I have forgotten to tell you. So suppose if you don't know how to create institutional repository and all, INFLIBNET will definitely help you to create institutional repository. Obviously, we will also provide you a system at our data center, a virtual machine at our data center. We will configure everything for you. We'll configure everything for you, and you can just keep on uploading. That info port is a subject gateway. Uh, Info port is a subject gateway wherein all electronic resources are being classified as per DDC, like religion, etc. But for INFLIBNET also, this is like becoming very difficult to manage and maintain all the resources. So now coming back to the presentation. कहाँ था मैं? Yeah. Another initiative is ICSSR data service. Now here, this is basically outcome of a MOU, tripartite MOU between Indian Council of Social Science ICSSR, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and INFLIBNET. So what we have done, whatever surveys which are being conducted by MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, we have collected that data, and we have data sets on debt and investment, domestic tourism, education, enterprise survey, employment, unemployment, housing condition, etc. And this is placed in a microdata catalog format. Say suppose somebody is interested in household expenditure on serviceable durable good, or say annual education survey, NSS 71st round. Now how we are maintaining, see, along with the database or along with the data, we are also putting questionnaire because see, you are not going to edit, you cannot conclude anything from the data unless you have access to questionnaire. So along with data, we are also giving you the questionnaire questionnaire which is used to create the data. Uh, Along with the reports, along with the technical documentation. Further, you will have study description. Description means when the survey was conducted, what was the sample size, what is the abstract, and what is the background of it, and all. Further, we have data description. Data description is again very dynamic. Like see, you can see for block 1 and 2, total cases are 65,000 total variables. Block 3 household characteristic, we have 65 lakh records, 65,000 records and 37 variables. Say block 4 demographic detail, we are having 3 lakh 10,000 samples. If I click this, I will be able to see the fields. Now suppose if I click state code, then also it will dynamically tell me कि say from J and K there are 2.1% cases, from UP there are 14% cases, like that. So this will also give you the sample size for each of the variable. And further, if you want to download the metadata, just log into your system using your username and password, and you will be allowed to get the records. So this was about ICSSR data service. Now further we have is a creation of expert database. You know, if you have not registered for Vidwan, please register yourself, or say as an institution also, like you can create profile of all the experts. Like you can, you know, what does it contain? Let us search for Atul Bhai. See, you can find experts in any subject. Atul Bhatt is from Gujarat University. Yeah. Say if I want to see the profile of Sri Atul Bhai, what I can see is his articles, his conferences, his award, then his co-author network, his publication, his expertise, and honors and awards and membership, as well as the publications. These publications are also dynamically fetched, right? You can see his citation and all. And you know, this data, this live data is basically coming from his all these IDs, that is Orsted ID, Scopus ID, Google Scholar ID, and all. You can also find similar experts or experts from same organization. Now, to why I am telling you to register for this is because government and ministry is also using this particular database for finding experts for various communities and to find out subject experts and all other things. And you know, this database is also spread in, say, category wise, like subject category wise: agriculture sciences, arts and humanities, biological sciences, chemical sciences. किसने माइक ऑन कर दिया? Okay, so somebody's mic is on. Somebody's mic is on. Okay, now I am audible. I'm sorry. Now I'm audible. Yeah. I'm sorry that. Okay. Okay. Now get back to presentation. So I was talking about Vidwan, wherein you can find experts in various subjects. So I request you to register for as an expert to Vidwan. You can also tell faculties of your college. See, the registration is like a typical process. Like it is just not like that. Everybody can register. For registration, we are very cautious in in cross checking the data. So this database is like thoroughly checked each and every time. So this is very genuine database. Now another initiative is IRINS. IRINS is Indian Research Information Network System. Now this is basically my voice is clear. Any issues with my voice? Okay, okay.
Oh, sir, go
Okay,
ahead,
okay,
sir.
okay.
Go ahead, sir. No problem.
Actually, I myself is not able to hear correctly sometimes, you know, this due to this uh, problem. I hope I don't have corona tomorrow. Anyway, yeah. See here, see we have created instance of various universities. Like suppose if you want to see institutional profile of Gujarat University, here what you can see is, see it is very dynamic. This is the initiative by like Dr. Parekh, as he has written here, a library initiative. So here you can see there are 150 faculties in Gujarat University. There are total 2600 plus publishers and patents. This many citation altogether Gujarat University has written, and there are this many journal articles and conference papers and all. And suppose if you click any department, say I'm clicking department of chemistry, so here I will be able to see how this department is performing. Like this particular department is having 146 articles, and wow, see the figures: 146 journal articles and 2000 plus citation. H index of this department is 32. And suppose if you look at the profile of one of the expert, Professor Hitesh, here you can see he himself is, and see everything is dynamic, like the information is 100% correct. See, he is having 84 journal articles, 23 reviews. His own H index is 15. He has got, out of 64 articles, he has got 968 citations. And in Google Scholar, he is having 1300 plus citations. He is associated with 268 co-authors. It is his co-authors map, and all articles and publications you can see. So similarly, you can also approach, if you are like institute, either R&D organizations or centrally funded institute or state universities or private universities. you can please approach INFLIBNET. The site address is, I mean, contact address is given here. You can approach us and we will help you in creating instance. Anyway, this all I have covered. Yeah. Now coming to the e-learning initiatives, how many time is left? Like I have, shall I have 10 minutes more? Yes. See, we have in e-learning content we have Vidyamitra and EPG Pathshala. Let me take you to the slides. EPGP. Now EPG Pathshala contains e-learning material in all four quadrants for 70. See, PGNet has identified somewhere around 77 subject. Out of that, we have material from 70 subject. We have 20,000 plus e-text, 19,000 plus videos, 3,200 plus experts, and 30,000 plus quizzes. Say suppose if you want to see library or information science में क्या है, just click. Then there is supposed to be a paper, say paper 30, digital libraries. Click on it. What you will say? Digital library, architecture. Then you have e-text. Okay, so this is basically a lecture by Dr. Content written by Dr. Jagdish Arora. Okay, you have learn more, you have self-learning also, right? So, likewise, okay, I think you are not able to hear this, but I'm stopping. Likewise, you have material for almost all the courses in PG subject. And benefit is, suppose somebody is sitting in a remote corner of say Gujarat Maharashtra border, say Dang district, and he want to access a lecture of an eminent faculty from say JNU or University of Delhi, he only needs internet connectivity, and that's it. He can always do a self study. Further, another initiative is Vidyamitra. Vidyamitra contains UG, PG, and even school education. So material is same. This is a superset. Say EPG Pathshala only contain course content about PG, but this contains the course content of UG, PG, and everything. This is a consolidated thing. Okay, you can go up to school level, etc. Say, say कुछ भी, even say somebody wants to learn Assamese language, foundation course in Assamese. So if really somebody is interested in this, he can get it from here. Like e-Gyan course, Assamese language, block 1, unit 1, and he can straight away click. Okay. So basically it is available on e-Gyan course. So this is a consolidated approach. See, regarding Swayam and Swayam Prabha, I think you are well aware. So I'm not going to talk about that. EPG and all this I have done. Further, INFLIBNET also supports NIRF entire backend system has been developed under guidance of NBA by INFLIBNET Center. We have also done backend data capturing system for ARIA. We are also helping NAC for research output data. We have also helping National Council of Teacher Education for their accreditation management system. We are also helping ENBA for online accreditation system. We have a department called LIS and ICT skill development, in which we are conducting planner and caliber. We are also having SOUL training program and IRTPLA, that is INFLIBNET regional training program in library automation. We have awareness program. We have conducted so far 164 plus awareness program, that is Shodh Ganga, Endless, UGC Infonet and all. And then we have reached up to 31 states and 450 plus universities. I mean, we have conducted program at this many institute, and somewhere around 60,000 people have been trained under leadership of, and as a teamwork led by Dr. Hosamani, who is in charge of this department. Further, we have also developed UGC website, Central University portal, Academic Job portal, Distance Education Bureau portal, UGC's Grivan portal, Study in India portal, NTA portal, Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat portal, FSCAN portal, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, etc. So these are the screenshot of what I have told. So if you consider our outreach, we have eShodh Sindhu has reached over 50 lakh people, students, spanning across 3480 plus institute. Our library automation software is in 3700 plus institutes. Shodh Ganga has been contributed by 394 plus institutes, and it is accessible worldwide. All e-content, that is EPG Pathshala, Vidyamitra, Swayam and all, is also being accessed through worldwide users. ICSSR data service, all social scientists are using it, and accreditation and all, you are aware. So I won't tell you much. If you have not visited the center, these are some photographs. This is our auditorium, these are our training labs, this is our guest house, and these are the honors and awards received by INFLIBNET Center. And yes, at present we are having only 21 technical staff, supported by 10 administrative staff and 70 plus contract staff. More people are supposed to join us. If not, I will just end this lecture. Just a minute. Hello. Huh. Huh. आई एम सॉरी, मेरा बॉस का कॉल। I hope I was able to satisfy you all, and sorry for waiting, and I'm really sorry for disturbances due to my sore throat. Uh, any questions, anything? Yes, PPT I will share with the organizers. I will share with the organizers. PPT I will share with organizers. Okay then, thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Hello.
you very much for your.
Thank you, sir.
Yatrish
Thank
sir,
you.
are you listening to me?
Thank you, sir.
Charota Rajput here.
Well soon.
Hello.
Thank
Sir,
Later.
Thank you, sir.
sir, thank you very much. On the behalf of all the participants of online refresher course in the library science, I, Dr. P.S. Rajput, Assistant Professor and in charge, Department of Library Information Science, Mohanlal Sakhan University, Udaipur, Rajasthan.
अच्छा
I
अच्छा
send
अच्छा
my
अच्छा.
gratitude to Mr. Patrick Patel, scientist, INFLIBNET, Ahmedabad. Sir, your all the activities and latest emerging innovation, especially in library science, are really praiseworthy, sir. Your commitment and dedication towards the library science profession is also appreciable. आज सर देखिए आप बीमार थे, तबीयत खराब, फिर भी आपका डेडिकेशन सराहनीय है और
सर,
अनुकरणीय है।
अपने प्रोफेसर मालूम
लोग
होना
सर याद
सबसे
आता
मना
है
नहीं करता सर.
Thank you, sir.
लोकम मूलम भूषणम
Thank you, sir.
भूषणम पुंसा श्वेत क्यों सरस्वती, आपके कंठ में मां सरस्वती विराजमान है। आपको इतना बढ़िया लेक्चर देने के लिए बहुत धन्यवाद सर। योर
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I am sure that
Thank you.
all the parents have benefited from your lecture. So thanks a lot. I also extend my special thanks to Professor Atulfat sir for giving me an opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Just only hope that कि मैं कल कोरोना पॉजिटिव ना हो जाऊं. कल
No,
मेरा
sir.
टेस्ट
But
है.
yही तो मेरा I pray to God for you. Your recovery is very, very soon. और आप healthy और wealthy, हमें जल्दी से जल्दी दोबारा मिलेंगे और ऐसी सेवाएं देते रहेंगे. Thank you very much, sir.
ठीक है सर, ठीक है.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
सर ऑलवेज हेल्दी और वेल्दी रहेंगे ही हमारे लिए.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you.